So these are Logan and Jason, two very skilled software developers, each with years of experience developing and sustaining mission software for the US government. I'm going to show you about 30 minutes of real activity with a real system compressed down into about 2 minutes. Okay, here we go. Logan's going to be on the bottom with previously standard tools, and Jason's going to be on the top equipped with Cody and our AI-powered secure rapid software capability. The task we're showing is representative of the type of work many developers in Leidos do every day, starting from a large legacy code base and deploying a new user-facing capability. So we've asked these two developers to accomplish 6 tasks. First, they're going to go into the code base and understand and document some existing code. Then they're going to write automated test cases. They're going to look for and remediate critical weaknesses in the software. Then they're going to protect it, encode a new visualization, and then when they've got that new visualization, they're going to deploy the software. Again, this is highly realistic to the kind of work our developers do every day. We've overlaid an indicator to show how the developers are progressing toward overall completion of the tasks. Okay, let's watch them get started. Now you can see that Jason quickly completes the first 2 tasks, documenting the code, generating test cases, and he's even on to identifying weaknesses automatically. Logan, unfortunately, has to spend a lot of time just reading the code, Googling, and trying to interpret how the software works before he can even get started. Again, this is one of the really big benefits we see in using Code AI, is the ability to actually contextualize the code that you have rapidly. Okay, we're now at a crucial moment to highlight. In less than 5 minutes of real time, our AI-assisted developer has significantly improved the quality of the code, he's added documentation and tests, and he's identified weaknesses in our baseline. That's what really is critical about what we're doing here. Using AI doesn't just help developers create new code, it helps developers understand and learn about legacy code through an unmatched understanding of the specific context of where they're writing to. And again, this is what's so powerful about Cody and the source graph driven approach, is the contextualization of the software for the developers. This is really the big gap and what we see as the most important part of making Code AI successful. Now, as we approach about 10 minutes into this activity, Logan has just completed the first task. Meanwhile, Jason's actually wrapping up remediation of weaknesses in the code. And now he's working on getting the software actually built. Now, as any developer knows, this is actually the fun part, right? Jason's actually now ready to build the new visualization feature that was needed. Because we've accelerated so much of the critical but less interesting work for Jason, not only is he more likely to complete those critical steps, but he's able to spend a greater percentage of his time on the most enjoyable part of the job. Meanwhile, Logan's back to Google, identifying test patterns for his code. After about 15 minutes, Jason's working on deploying the software, the last step in the process. Something interesting is happening here. When Jason tries to deploy the software, he receives a failed notification. This happened because there was a legacy software vulnerability that was identified by our policy as code, but our secure rapid software approach prevents us from deploying vulnerable code into production. Once identified, we use Code AI to help Jason correct the vulnerability and get the software successfully and securely deployed. Meanwhile, Logan ran out of time, finishing only half the new test cases. He failed to identify the weaknesses in the software. So our AI-assisted developer was ultimately able to implement the new feature and leave the software more secure and more reliable in a fraction of the time it would have taken our non-AI assisted developer.